Welcome back to Doc Tickers, the show where we help you understand the most important earnings calls.
That's right.
Without having to listen to them.
We do the work so you don't have to.
Exactly. And today we are diving deep into SiTime's Q4 2024 performance.
Really interesting company.
Yeah, they're kind of a hidden gem. I think most people haven't heard of them.
Yeah, under the radar.
But they're making some serious moves in some really hot tech sectors.
Yeah.
Like AI, 5G, even self-driving cars.
All the exciting stuff.
Yeah. So to start us off, can you kind of explain what SiTime actually does?
Sure. So SiTime, they make these tiny devices called precision timing devices.
Okay.
And they're basically the heartbeat of modern electronics.
The heartbeat?
Yeah. Without them, our smartphones, our data centers, all this fancy tech we rely on wouldn't function nearly as well.
So if they're the heartbeat, are they like making sure everything's in sync?
Exactly. They ensure that everything runs smoothly and reliably.
Okay.
Which is even more crucial now as our world becomes more digital.
Yeah. Right, because everything's getting more complex.
Absolutely. More data, more devices, everything needs to be perfectly timed.
Okay, so their Q4 results are out.
They are.
And they seem to be doing pretty well.
They are doing extremely well. We're talking a 61% jump in revenue year over year.
Wow.
Which capped off a 41% growth year for 2024.
So they're growing fast.
They are growing very fast. They absolutely smashed their targets.
Okay, and I know we've talked about AI and 5G and all that.
Right.
Are they kind of putting all their eggs in one basket? Are they just focused on one of those things, or are they spread out?
That's a great question. And actually, that's one of the things that impressed me the most about their results.
Okay.
They're cleverly positioned across three key areas. So you have communications enterprise and data centers.
Okay.
We'll call it CED for short.
CED. Okay, got it.
Then you have automotive and industrial, and then mobile, IoT, and consumer tech.
Okay, so they're in everything, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And the really impressive part is that every single one of these segments saw double-digit growth.
Oh, wow.
So they're not reliant on any one sector.
So that's like the sign of a healthy company.
Exactly. It makes them more resilient to the ups and downs of any single market.
Right, like if AI suddenly cools off, they've got all these other things going on.
Exactly.
Okay, so you said CED is communications, enterprise, and data centers?
Yep.
What's going on there? Because I feel like that's where a lot of the growth is happening in tech.
That's exactly right. It's like the engine of SiTime's growth right now.
Okay.
Bringing in a whopping 37% of their total sales.
37%. Wow.
And hold on to your hats, because in Q4, this segment saw a mind-blowing 156% growth year over year.
156%.
That's not just growth, that's a full-on explosion.
Okay, so what is driving that growth? Is it just like the general trend of more data, more cloud computing, all that?
Yeah, I mean, it tells us that SiTime is deeply embedded in the infrastructure of our digital world.
Okay.
Think about it. Data centers, the cloud 5G networks, all of this stuff relies on their technology to function flawlessly.
So it's like they're the picks and shovels of the digital gold rush.
I like that analogy, yeah. They're the unsung heroes powering the digital revolution.
Okay, and speaking of revolutions, we got to talk about AI.
Of course, AI is everywhere.
Right, and their tech is essential for AI to function, right?
Absolutely. Their technology is essential for making AI faster, more connected, and incredibly reliable.
Okay.
Which is absolutely crucial as AI becomes more powerful and more integrated into our lives.
Yeah, because if my self-driving car is lagging because of a bad AI chip, I don't know if I want to be in that car.
Yeah, exactly. Reliability is paramount when it comes to AI.
Okay, so how is SiTime's tech actually being used in AI?
Well, think of it this way. For AI to do all the amazing things it promises, like self-driving cars or personalized medicine, it needs to process massive amounts of data at lightning speed.
Right.
And SiTime's tech helps ensure that data flows smoothly and without any hiccups.
So it's like they're keeping the AI brain running smoothly.
Exactly.
Are there any like specific examples of how their tech is being used in AI products or services?
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, SiTime currently holds a major chunk of the market for 800G optical modules.
Okay.
These are the superhighways that move data within data centers.
Okay, so super fast data transfer.
Yeah, essential for AI applications. And they're also making waves with a new chip.
Right.
That addresses specific problems in GPUs, which are basically the brains of AI systems.
So they're not just providing like the infrastructure, they're also providing parts of the brain itself.
Exactly. They're hitting on all cylinders when it comes to this AI boom.
Okay, but it's not just data centers, right? They're doing other things too.
Absolutely. What's interesting is they're not just focused on the data center side of things.
Yeah.
They're also making moves in other exciting areas like autonomous vehicles and industrial automation.
I was reading about self-driving tractors and excavators.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's some seriously cool stuff.
Yeah, it shows their adaptability and their ability to apply their technology across different industries.
So they're not a one-trick Tony.
Not at all. We also see this in their work with drones, military radios, and even systems that require extremely precise positioning.
So they're finding all these niche applications.
Exactly. They're carving out these unique niches.
Okay, so they're growing really fast. They're involved in all the cool new technologies.
Yeah.
But what about their financials? Are they just burning cash to grow, or are they actually making money?
That's a great question. And the good news is SiTime isn't just growing, they're growing profitably.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Their gross margins remain strong, operating expenses are under control,
Okay.
and they're sitting on a nice cushion of cash.
So it sounds like a pretty healthy company financially.
Absolutely. This is a company that's thinking long-term. They're not just chasing growth at any cost.
Right.
They're building a sustainable business, which is what any savvy investor wants to see.
Okay, now before we move on, there's one more factor we need to address, and that's China,
Ah, yes.
particularly in the automotive sector.
Right.
SiTime's CEO highlighted this in the earnings call, mentioning how some of the most innovative car companies are actually coming from China now.
It's a trend worth paying attention to. China's tech scene is exploding,
Yeah.
and SiTime seems to be well positioned to capitalize on that growth.
So that's something to keep an eye on.
Definitely. It'll be fascinating to see how this dynamic plays out in the coming years.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still plenty more to discuss about SiTime's performance and their future prospects.
Absolutely. We're just getting started.
So we've painted a pretty rosy picture of SiTime's performance. But let's dig a little deeper into some of the specifics from the call.
Yeah, let's get into the details.
One thing that jumped out at me was the talk about their biggest customer.
Oh, yeah, the mystery customer.
They wouldn't name them directly,
Right.
but there were pretty strong hints. It's a major tech player,
Yeah, one of those companies we all use every day.
exactly like a household name.
Right.
So it's kind of a tech mystery, isn't it?
It is. It's like, who is this giant customer?
And they kept things pretty vague.
It did.
But the CEO definitely implied that this mystery customer could be a significant growth driver in 2025.
Yeah, especially with some new products in the pipeline.
So that makes you wonder, what kind of game-changing product could they be working on
Right.
that would rely so heavily on SiTime's technology?
Exactly. What is this secret project?
Are we talking about a new type of smartphone,
Could be.
a foldable tablet,
Maybe.
or maybe even something related to augmented reality?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Right.
The possibilities are pretty exciting.
Yeah, and this kind of mystery just adds another layer of intrigue to SiTime's story.
It does.
It's a reminder that these seemingly small, specialized companies
Right.
can be deeply connected to some of the biggest players in tech.
Absolutely. It's all about those partnerships.
Okay, and speaking of strategic connections,
Yeah.
we can't forget about SiTime's acquisition of Aura Semiconductor last year.
Oh, yeah, that was a smart move.
They specialize in clocking technology,
Right.
which seems like a perfect complement to SiTime's existing products.
Absolutely. It essentially allowed SiTime to become a one-stop shop for precision timing solutions.
Okay, so they're offering a wider range of products now.
Exactly. They can provide even more complete solutions to their customers.
And the best part is it's already contributing to their bottom line.
Yeah, it's not just about buying technology, they're buying a revenue stream.
Okay, so they're getting a return on that investment.
Exactly.
What kind of numbers are we talking about here?
Well, they're projecting that the Aura segment of their business could rake in a cool $100 million within the next few years.
100 million.
Yeah, and what's even better is that the margins on those products are expected to be even higher than SiTime's current average.
So even more profitable.
Exactly. Talk about a win-win.
They're expanding their market reach, adding a significant chunk of revenue, and boosting their profitability all in one fell swoop.
Exactly. They're firing on all cylinders.
It's clear that SiTime isn't just sitting back and enjoying the ride.
No, they're not.
They're actively shaping their future and making strategic moves to stay ahead of the curve.
That's what separates the good companies from the great ones, right?
Yeah.
The ability to adapt, innovate, and make bold decisions when opportunities arise.
Okay, but let's not forget about the foundation of SiTime's success.
Right.
Their technology.
Yeah.
It's based on something called MEMS,
MEMS.
which stands for micro-electromechanical systems.
It's a mouthful.
I know.
But it's essentially what allows them to create these tiny, super precise, and incredibly robust timing devices.
Okay, so if we think back to that analogy of SiTime being the heartbeat of electronics,
Yeah.
MEMS is the technology that makes that heartbeat so strong and reliable.
Exactly. It's like the difference between a clunky old grandfather clock and a sleek, high-tech smartwatch.
Right, so their technology is what sets them apart.
Absolutely. SiTime's MEMS-based approach gives them a real edge over their competitors.
Okay.
Many of whom are still relying on older, less flexible technologies.
So they're ahead of the game.
Their devices are less susceptible to things like temperature changes, vibrations, and even shock.
Wow, so they're tough.
They are, which is crucial in demanding environments like automotive and industrial applications.
Right, because those tractors and excavators are out there in the field.
Exactly. They need tough components.
So it's not just about precision, it's also about toughness and reliability.
Absolutely.
No wonder they're gaining so much traction in these demanding sectors.
Makes sense.
But with all this talk about competition,
Yeah.
who are the other players in this space?
Right.
What does the competitive landscape look like for SiTime?
Well, the market for timing devices is actually pretty fragmented.
Okay.
With a whole bunch of players, big and small.
Okay.
Some have been around for ages, while others are newer entrants.
Right, so it's a crowded market.
It is, but what sets SiTime apart is this innovative use of MEMS technology.
Okay.
And their strategic focus on high-growth areas like 5G AI and automotive.
So they found this sweet spot
Yeah.
where cutting-edge technology meets rapidly growing markets.
Exactly. And they're not afraid to push the boundaries and constantly come up with new products to meet the evolving needs of their customers.
I read that they've introduced something like 40 new products in just the last year and a half.
That's a remarkable pace of innovation.
Yeah.
And it shows they're not just resting on their laurels, they're constantly looking for ways to improve, expand their portfolio, and address new market opportunities.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the financial side of things.
Okay, the number.
We already touched on their impressive revenue growth and strong margins.
Right.
But what about their guidance for the next quarter?
Yeah, what are they expecting?
What are they expecting in terms of revenue and profitability?
Well, they're anticipating some seasonality in Q1,
Okay.
which is typical for the semiconductor industry.
Right.
They're projecting revenue to be between $53 million and $55 million,
Okay.
which is still a healthy year-over-year increase.
Yeah.
But a slight dip from the record-breaking Q4.
So a little bit of a slowdown, but nothing too dramatic.
No, not at all.
What about their profitability?
Right.
Will their margins be affected by this seasonal dip in revenue?
Yes. They're expecting gross margins of around 57% for Q1,
Okay.
which is a bit lower than their Q4 numbers.
Okay.
But they attributed this mainly to temporary factors, like lower manufacturing absorption due to the lower revenue and some costs associated with ramping up new products.
So it's not a cause for concern,
No.
more like a temporary blip.
Exactly. It's like when you're baking a cake and the first few out of the oven might not be perfect,
Right.
but once you get into a groove, those cakes come out golden brown every time.
Okay. So once they ramp up those new products,
Yeah.
they're expecting those margins to rebound.
Exactly, as those efforts pay off.
Okay. So we've covered SiTime's impressive performance,
Yeah.
their strategic acquisitions,
Right.
their cutting-edge technology,
Right.
and even their financial outlook.
It's a good story.
But I'm curious, who are the people driving this success?
You're right. The leadership team.
What could you tell us about their leadership team?
Well, at the helm, we have Rajesh Vashis, their CEO,
Yeah.
who's been with the company for over a decade.
Okay, so he knows the company inside now.
He does. He's clearly a visionary leader with a deep understanding of the technology and the market.
Okay, so he's the captain steering the ship.
He is, and he's played a crucial role in driving SiTime's growth and innovation.
What about the rest of the crew?
Well, they also have a strong CFO, Beth Howe,
Okay.
who's responsible for keeping the company's finances in order and ensuring they're operating efficiently.
So she keeps the ship running smoothly.
Exactly. And from what we've gathered, they seem to have a talented and dedicated workforce,
Okay.
which is essential in a highly competitive industry like semiconductors.
Right. You need good people to build good products.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they've got the leadership, the talent, the technology, and the market opportunity.
Yeah, it's a winning combination.
Is there anything else we need to consider?
Good question.
Any potential risks or challenges lurking on the horizon?
Well, no company is without risks.
Right.
And SiTime is no exception. One thing to keep in mind is the cyclical nature of the semiconductor industry.
Okay.
Demand for chips can fluctuate depending on economic conditions, global supply chains,
Right.
and the overall health of various end markets.
So they're not immune to external factors.
No, they're not,
Yeah.
which is true for pretty much any business.
Are there any other risks specific to SiTime that we should be aware of?
Well, one potential risk is their reliance on a few large customers,
Okay.
particularly that mysterious one we discussed earlier.
Right.
If that customer were to suddenly reduce their orders
Yeah.
or switch to a competitor, it could definitely have a noticeable impact on SiTime's business.
So having a concentrated customer base always carries some level of risk.
It does.
But on the flip side, these close relationships with key customers can also be a source of strength.
That's true.
It gives them valuable insights into market trends and allows them to tailor their products to specific needs.
Exactly. It's a classic double-edged sword.
Another challenge they face, like any tech company,
Yeah.
is the need to constantly innovate and stay ahead of the curve.
Of course, the tech world is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And SiTime can't afford to rest on their laurels.
They need to keep pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely.
And anticipate future trends. Speaking of future trends,
Yeah.
something that caught my attention during the earnings call was the CEO's emphasis on the growing importance of precision timing.
Okay.
In emerging fields like autonomous driving, advanced robotics, and even aerospace,
Oh, that's interesting.
it highlights how SiTime's technology is becoming increasingly vital
Yeah.
in a world where machines are becoming more sophisticated,
Right.
interconnected, and reliant on precise timing for safety and performance.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Think about it. Self-driving cars, surgical robots, drones. They
Yeah.
all need incredibly accurate timing to function properly.
It's like they're laying the groundwork for a future where machines can operate with a level of precision and reliability
Right.
that we can only dream of today.
It's an exciting future.
And if that's the case, then SiTime's growth story is far from over.
It might just be getting started.
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it?
It is.
They're at the forefront of a technological revolution,
Yeah,
and their potential seems limitless.
absolutely. But before we get carried away with futuristic visions,
Right.
let's bring things back down to earth for a moment
Okay.
and talk about something a little closer to home.
Okay.
Our This Is Not Financial Advice segment.
Ah, yes. Time for some speculative fun. Are you ready to cook up a wild, outrageous,
Oh, yeah.
but potentially lucrative trade idea
Let's hear it.
based on what we've learned about SiTime?
Yeah, hit me with it.
All right, imagine this. It's late 2025, and the rumor mill is churning about a top secret project
Okay.
from SiTime's mystery customer.
All right, I'm listening.
Think something truly groundbreaking, like a device that blurs the lines between the physical and digital worlds.
Okay, so we're talking.
Something that makes virtual reality look like a clunky old toy.
All right, we're getting really futuristic now.
Yeah, and imagine this device needs incredibly precise timing to function properly.
Okay, I see where you're going.
We're talking about syncing real-world movements with a virtual environment in real time.
Okay.
Any lag or delay would completely shatter the illusion, right?
Yeah, it would be a terrible experience.
So for a truly seamless and immersive experience,
Yeah,
timing would be absolutely critical.
I agree with that.
So how does SiTime fit into all of this? Well, remember how the CEO hinted at potential new products
Uh-huh.
from their largest customer?
Yeah, he was being a little cagey about it.
What if this revolutionary device is what he was talking about?
Interesting.
And what if SiTime's super precise timing technology is the secret ingredient that makes it all possible?
Oh, okay, so you're thinking.
So we've got this groundbreaking new product,
Yeah,
a mystery customer, and a company with the technology to make it happen.
it's a compelling story.
Right.
I like it.
Imagine the hype leading up to the product launch.
Oh, yeah.
Tech blogs going wild,
Mm-hmm.
analysts scrambling to adjust their predictions,
Right.
investors piling into SiTime stock, hoping to ride the wave.
Sounds like a recipe for a short squeeze.
Right.
Fine.
But of course, as we always remind our listeners, this is purely hypothetical
Of course.
and not financial advice.
This is all just speculation.
Investing based solely on rumors and speculation is a risky game.
Absolutely never invest more than you can afford to lose.
We're just having a little fun here,
Yeah.
exploring the possibilities.
Right.
But hey, even if this specific scenario doesn't play out exactly as we've imagined,
Yeah.
it highlights a crucial point for investors.
What's that?
Understanding the underlying technology trends
Okay.
and identifying the companies that are driving those trends can give you a real edge.
I agree with that.
SiTime is a perfect example of this.
Yeah.
They're not a household name,
Right.
but they're quietly playing a crucial role in shaping the future of technology.
They're kind of like the unsung heroes.
Yeah,
The
extremely.
people behind the scenes making it all happen.
And their story is far from over.
I think it's just getting started.
All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into SiTime's Q4 2024 earnings call.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from their impressive financial performance to their strategic acquisitions and their role in powering some of the most exciting tech trends.
It's a fascinating company.
As always, remember to do your own research
Yeah.
and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Never hurts to get a second opinion.
Until next time, happy investing.
See you later.